Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Over the previous weekend, we had another one of these beta males participate in the murder of a man over a woman. But what makes this case quite troubling is that this beta male decided to kill a Gambino family crime boss, all because that Gambino family crime boss told him not to see his niece. Now, your Anthony Camelo, who lives with his parents and works odd construction jobs, is a textbook example of a beta male. And the reason why he is the textbook example of a beta male is because when he saw this Gambino family crime boss, he did not understand the concept of male authority. Now, your Gambino family crime boss, Frankie Boy Cali, this was a man who most people in the community learned to respect his power of his position and learn to respect the power of his authority as a crime boss. Unfortunately, it seems like that culture of male authority was not taught to your Anthony Camelo by his parents, and that's why he went out here to go out and murder this man, all because he told him that he could not see his niece. And this is one of the things I talked about in my book, The Man Crisis, and this is something that is really, again, troubling when you look at this whole situation, because this beta male, because he was not taught the concept of male authority, he was willing to put his own life, health, and safety at risk to defy a leader of an organized crime family, and he was also willing to take such tremendous risks that he would go out here and murder this crime boss, all because he wanted to continue seeing the niece of this crime boss. And that is really just troubling because, again, it shows that we have a problem here in America with the way we are raising boys here in America, because any boy who has been raised by healthy parents, he is going to understand how dangerous a situation he would put himself in by going out here and defying the male authority of an organized crime figure. Unfortunately, when it comes down to beta males, they don't understand the threat of making a challenge to a member of an organized crime family, because they have been raised not under male authority like the members of organized crime have been raised. No, they have been raised under the gynocentric platform of feminism, and because they are raised under the gynocentric platform of feminism, they have learned to submit to female authority figures. And because they have been raised to submit to female authority figures, they do not understand when they are crossing boundaries with male authority figures. So when this Anthony Camelo saw Francesco Frankie Boy Cali, the mafia leader of the Gambino crime family, he did not see the position of this man, and he did not see the authority that this man had, because when it comes down to beta males, most beta males only see another man as somebody who is equal to them, and they don't see the power and position that that man has. So they don't see a older man like your Frankie Boy Cali. They don't see his power, they don't see his position, they don't see him as a leader or an authority figure, and they don't see him as a person who has tremendous power in organized crime. No, they see this man as competition to them, and they see this man as a threat to them. So when they look at this man, they don't see him as a leader or an authority figure, and that's why a guy like your Anthony Camelo will go out here
and plan to murder a man like a Frankie Boy Cali, because when it comes down to him, he just sees another person on his level, and he does not see the authority of his position. And what's really troubling about this situation, again, is that when it comes down to these beta males, they just don't see male authority. And because they don't see male authority, they don't see where they're violating a boundary. Now, a man who grew up with a father and understood the power of organized crime and the power of organized crime bosses, that man who, when approached by a Frankie Boy Cali, would automatically understand that if this man, who is a leader of a crime family, is approaching me and telling me not to see his niece, that's the end of everything. That means I no longer see this woman, I no longer involve myself with this woman, and if I have to, I will pack up all my stuff and move to another state so I can avoid any sort of contact or interaction with this woman. That's what any man who understands male authority would do, and that's what any man who understands the power and position of a crime family boss would do, because they would understand that they have to value things that are more important than the attention of this female, things like their health, things like their safety, and things like preserving their life. And because they understand those principles, they are going to go out here and again respect that man's authority. And they're respecting that man's authority not just because he's a crime boss, but because this man came to you face to face. And this is another thing that the beta male doesn't understand. When a man comes to you face to face and lets you know what the deal is, you are to respect his position, you are to respect his leadership, you are to respect his authority, because if he's coming to you directly and telling you you are not to see this woman anymore, then after he has made that statement, you are to put a period at the end of things and you are have to move on. Unfortunately, when it comes down to a beta male, again, follows the leadership of females, and if another man tells him not to see a woman, he does not respect that man's position and power as an authority figure. Instead, he looks to defy and challenge that man's authority. And when he does that, he does not understand the boundaries he is pushing. And this is another problem with your beta males, that he does not understand that when you challenge a man, you are in a dangerous situation. And again, your Anthony Camelo didn't understand the dangerous situation he was putting himself in. All he was thinking about was getting the attention and approval of this female, not understanding that in organized crime, females do not have any sort of power. It is the men who have power. And by doing this, this man put his own life at risk. So this man decided he would go out here and murder this mobster who runs the Gambino crime family. And he did this all because, again, like the simp that he is, wanted the attention of this woman, thought he could continue to see this woman, and now he is going to not only have to deal with being in prison, but he's also may possibly have to deal with these organized crime family members looking to take him out. And the reason why they're going to want to take him out is because he murdered the leader of their family, and they're not going to let that go by. Now, when it comes down to this beta male, again, these guys don't understand boundaries. They don't understand male authority. And this is why your simp and beta male are extremely dangerous. These men do not understand unwritten social rules that relate to men. They don't understand male codes. And that's what makes them, again, a threat to other men, is that they, again, don't see a male with authority. They don't see the power of another man. And they will go out here and challenge that power, not understanding that or not only putting their life at risk, but they're going to put other people's lives at risk. Excuse me. And this Camelo, he just did not understand the risk he was taking. All he thought about, again, was getting the attention of that female, and he didn't understand what he was doing. And again, this is the textbook behavior that I talked about in my book, The Man Crisis. And when I look at this Anthony Camelo, he put himself in a crisis, and he may have put himself in a situation where he may have just signed his own death warrant. And he signed his own death warrant, again, all because he was not raised to understand the unwritten social rules as related to men, and he was not taught male life skills, and he wasn't taught the male life skill that is one of the most important every boy is supposed to learn, and that is to respect male leadership, respect male authority, and to respect the power and position that an older man has. And that's the lesson everybody should learn from your Anthony Camelo, because he decided to go out here and, again, murder Frank Kelly, all because he told him that he couldn't see his niece, and now he wants to try to play crazy, talking about it's MAGA forever on his hands, but that's not going to wash with these organized crime leaders, because when it comes down to organized crime doesn't care about MAGA supporters. All it cares about is making sure that they get justice for the leader of their organization. Because what your Camelo did was he disrespected the leadership of the Gambino crime family. He disrespected the authority of the Gambino crime bosses, and he put himself in a dangerous position, all because clearly someone in his home did not teach him the life skills of a man, did not teach him the principles of a man, and did not teach him how to be a man. And that's why this man is in crisis, and that's why this man is in a situation where he's going to either go to jail for the rest of his life, or he may not even survive before he goes to trial. If you'd like to learn more about why men like Anthony Camelo go out here and participate in a spectrum of violent behaviors like murdering crime bosses and pushing boundaries, you can pick up my new book, The Man Crisis, in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com, or you can pick it up on other ebook platforms like Barnes & Noble's Nook, the iBookstore, or Smashwords. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. The ISIS graphic novel Indiegogo is live. Help me publish the first comic book featuring the goddess next door by putting in a pledge today.